back from your life and try to see things in perspective. Like, change happens gradually, and sometimes even if you're, thinking about the changes, it's difficult to put it into perspective the enormity of a number of small changes that happen in your life. And that's what perspective is all about. That's why people take vacations and why it's nice to meditate and to, for me, do yoga, but find something that takes you out of the monkey mind, they call it, right? In Buddhism, right? The monkey mind. Get out of the monkey mind, the busy, 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 and just sit there and say, once in a while, not all the time, obviously, just to say, hey, what's really going on here? What's changed without me knowing, right? And I want to do a quick video here talking about what's really changed. And I think, especially for younger guys, it's important to see the world, to see these changes through other eyes also, from periods that you were not alive. And also for older guys, hearing this perspective will bring back a lot of memories and things that you'll be like, wow, you're right. That's changed. I didn't really understand how big that change was. And you'll have your thoughts. I really look forward to the comments on this one. But we have a just kind of a popular celebrity at the moment, right? I don't think it's even worth talking about her that much, except for to analyze a few things about her. So here she is in an interview.
Weird.
Okay, so we have her, I would say acting very odd, to say the least. Very strange. She's trying to, with her, these expressions, she's attempting to paint somebody a certain way. But this is the classic case, right here is a classic case of where, somebody is projecting, right? They're projecting the way they are onto another person. And that's why if you ask somebody, what do you think about this or that, and they'll tell you, and that can often give you an insight into who they really are, because without knowing it, a lot of people will project their own thinking into the world. So that you might ask, what do young people think today? And somebody might say, well, they're very depressed and this and that. And that's a chance for you to really ask more questions, because the odds that they have a, completely balanced view of the world are not that high, but the odds that they're describing themselves are actually quite high. So what I would say here to Rachel Zegler is she is, I would say, very odd, okay? And it starts here with the way she talks. But let's look farther at, I want to show, this is the image that we are supposed to have of Rachel Zegler. So this is what we're supposed to look at. And when I say supposed to, I don't mean the Illuminati or this or that. I just mean like the camera, the business, the money. This is what they want you to look at. They don't really want you to look at that right there. Not too much going on there. But on first glance, she's quite beautiful. And you can see the comments. Stunning. Thank God. Hello, gorgeous. Is it warm in here? Seems like it's warm in here. A lot of very complimentary comments. And they just keep going on, right? They're all very positive. Now, I'm not saying that she does not look attractive in this picture at all. But let's dig a little deeper into this, right? Let's dig a little deeper. So this is a picture of Rachel Zegler talking at a live event where she's talking about her recent, she was in West Side Story, which is one of my favorite stories. And actually long story. Anyway, I have a connection with that story. And so I know the story very, very well. And what's interesting about this is, one, if you look at her here and you look at her in her past picture, her lips are not this luscious, they're basically her lips look nothing like they did in the last picture. Unfortunately, I just deleted the picture. As I'm going, I'm just deleting each picture. But you can see here, she's very plain. And I think to me, like even her nose, she does not. I mean, if I saw this woman here in real life, I don't know what number you would give her. You know, what would you give her? They're like, we all have numbers, right? We have numbers whether we're talking about our beauty, whether we're talking about our finances. You know, we're rated, okay, on our attractiveness. What would you rate her? We all rate. What attractiveness would you rate her? Here she is, looks like without makeup, making a speech. You know, to me, she honestly looks like a 4 here, to me. Like below average. That nose, you know, and those teeth, I just don't think. I know it's kind of popular right now to have big eyebrows, but I just don't think that's that attractive. But that's just a grooming thing. You can obviously adjust those. But anyway, there she is. There's her real picture making a speech. Okay. So here's another one of her. This one, she looks a little more attractive without makeup on, looks like. And you can see, now keep in mind, this is a top A-lister Hollywood star right now. Okay, I know she's a lot of controversy about her right now, but when you get the Snow White role, the leading role, at 21 years old, you are an A-lister hot property. I know that she just kind of got there, and she kind of bullied her way in. Actually, if you read about how she got into the Oscars, it was really, this chick is a bully. I'm going to tell you that straight up, and we'll see that in her actions. But also too, again, her face is not. It's not unattractive, you know, but it's just not. It's not A-lister. To me, it's not A-lister. Now, let's look. Her eyes are pretty. Smile is fine. Or got a nice smile. But let's look at her hair. Her hair, right? Now let's look at pretty hair. And a lot of guys, if you grew up in the West, you might never have seen pretty hair. You know, beautiful natural hair. And when I say natural hair, I don't just mean natural hair. I mean somebody who eats good food, somebody who sleeps, somebody who has a healthy lifestyle, right? Because your hair is growing out of your body. If you poison the dirt, okay, like they have in many countries, dumping different, you know, waste, you know, chemical factories, and then they try to grow vegetables. Those vegetables are not healthy to eat. And the reason is because the dirt has been poisoned. This is one of the biggest problems in China, is that the dirt has been poisoned since the 20s, actually. So it's been like they've been dumping in farms for years. So when you poison the dirt, when you poison the field, okay, you get poisoned fruit, right? And when you see, for example, a beautiful woman with beautiful hair who, you know, takes care of herself. She eats healthy food. Even things like stress affects your hair. Drug use affects your hair. Drinking affects your hair. There's a lot of things, right? But sleep is a big one, and food is a big one. But also temperament affects hair. So let's just look at, for you guys that have never been to Asia, and especially if you're in a small town Asian women have beautiful hair. There's just no doubt about it. And if you come here, you will date women like this. I've dated women like this, quite a few actually. I mean, when I say quite a few, I mean like with hair this pretty 3. That's a lot. That's a fucking lot. And they were beautiful. Like just touching this hair is just, it's absolutely, I will just say this about hair in general. I've said this before. The more experienced you are with women, the more you will judge a woman by her hair. I swear to God, it is a fact. A woman's beauty, it is reflected in, the hair is such a great, it's a great way to analyze beauty. You know, because like I said, it shows inner beauty, right? It shows discipline, what she eats. It shows when she sleeps, and it shows her lifestyle. It also shows, obviously, her genetics, right? And so beautiful hair is and always has been the way that wise men notice beauty. No matter, I mean, for me personally, having slept with 700 women, I personally look at hair first. Hair is a huge deal for me because I've just noticed over the years that I can get a woman and we will sleep together, and then in the morning when I look at her again, she looks totally differently in the morning. And when a woman has naturally beautiful hair, she often has what goes with hair. What else grows on the body? Skin. So beautiful skin. So beautiful skin, a nice complexion, right? They're not stressed out. They're relaxed. They've eaten great food. They've slept. They didn't drink. They didn't take drugs. They naturally, there's no way to fake this hair. That's why it's such a great, hair is really a great way. Once you start looking at hair, you really want to leave the U.S. as soon as possible. And I hope this helps you, just seeing beautiful hair, because let's just look at some beautiful hair here in Asia. So here's another one. I had a girl who had hair like this. Not quite as pretty as the last one, but goes all the way down to the butt. And I had, what was her name? Oh, geez. I can't believe I don't remember her name. Yuko-san. Yuko-san had hair like this. And I remember the first time I was so enamored. I was only new in Asia. And when I felt her hair, I had never felt hair like this. It's just beautiful all the way down. It's absolutely silky all the way down to the end. And she doesn't do anything to it. She didn't straighten it. A lot of women will say, oh, she did this and that. With really, really long hair, there's not much you can do. There's a limit. Really, really long, beautiful hair is really difficult to fake. It's one of these things that's extremely difficult to fake. And you can see a lot of things in beautiful hair. And you can see the ends of her hair. Let's look at the ends here. That's how you notice, is down on the ends. You see they get a little bit more, see at the end, they're a little bit more, this is not a great quality picture, but you see those last 2 inches, they're a little bit roughed up, but you can see this is just absolutely gorgeous hair. Just stunning hair. Beautiful, beautiful hair. And then when the hair goes down to the butt, it's just, man, there's something that guys it just drives you crazy. You could have a woman, she could be not even that beautiful in many ways, but if she's thin and her hair goes all the way down here, and she is just so beautiful. I gotta say, this is something that is just so attractive to me. And if you've never seen this, you really deserve to kiss, caress, and wake up with a woman with long hair. It's beautiful hair. It's really special. Here's like extremely long hair. I don't know if this was like a long hair contest or something, but her hair is not as thick, so she's just going for long, so it's not more. But you can see around the face, it's just so beautiful down to here, right? It's just totally gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Here's like a little shorter hair, but also beautiful. That's a Korean model or a Korean person. Here's what you can do with long hair. So this is what girls with long hair like to do. They like to braid it up, and oh man, when you love her and when you're with her and she does things with her hair, there's things that a girl with really beautiful long hair can do that make, sensuality and kissing her and just being with her, loving her. It makes it so much more attractive. It's really difficult not to fall in love actually with a girl with hair like this, because it's just like, it's mesmerizing. There's eyes or something, obviously breasts and everything, and nipples are important, and it depends on what what is really your thing. But long hair, once you've been around long hair, it is fucking difficult to be around girls with like a rat's nest. It really is. They're just not attractive. Here's another one. Beautiful. That's like a younger girl, just natural. And I wanted to show you, I think as a kind of contrast to Rachel Zegler, I wanted to show you when I was young, what was, women that I looked up to, that I thought were cute, and the ones that I kind of was hot on, right? And this one here is Olivia Newton-John, and I just want to kind of show you. This is 1975. You can see, like, she was dressed. There's a lot of reasons why I was attracted to her. One of them is that she was very conservative most of the time, and so and you can see here in this other one, you can see the way she dressed, right? Now you could say it's boring or whatever, but let's just kind of let's go forward here. Yeah, I mean, believe it or not, this here. This is 1975. I mean, this is not 1950s. This is after the 60s. This is a major star. This girl, Olivia Newton-John, was one of the first albums I ever bought, right? And look at her mannerisms. Look at her arm. Look at her arm. And the way she walks. Her voice, the way she uses her voice, the clothing that she's wearing. And you can see that in 1975, society hadn't gone crazy yet. Society still knew what was attractive, what made a woman attractive. Like, not every woman looked like this. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this was Olivia Newton-John, and she was popular for a reason. But it's incredible, like, how far we've come. I don't know if her hair's dyed or not. It might have been slightly dyed. I'm not sure. She's Australian, so obviously she's a natural blonde, right? So she's got a very like a golden voice. There's a femininity about her voice, and the way she looks around the room, the way she glances at people, and the way she looks over at the other singers and things. There's this, I don't know what to say about it, but it's a very feminine way of being, is the way she acted. And I was in love with her. I thought she was the greatest thing. And there was quite a few stars who, and when I met girls, like the girls that I was around, this was the look in like 1975, right? This is 1975. The last one, it might have been 1977. But anyway, now let's go back to today's day and age, right? Here's one more. Pretty hair. And you can see that's actually a Japanese girl with slightly dyed hair. They used to call that chapatsu, right? Here's Malaysian girl with straight hair, natural. You can tell she doesn't do anything to her hair. That's just the way it looks. So let's go back. Here's another. I like this one here. This is very natural. It's very common. Very common to meet a Japanese girl looks like this. Dresses like this. She will pose like that and naturally. Like, she's not. I can tell you right now, this picture right here is actually the way she looks a lot. Okay, there isn't such a large gap between the way Japanese girls look in pictures and the way they look in real life. I talked about this in the femininity episode, but the mannerisms of femininity, they are very intricate, and there are many of them. And the only way you really learn them is from youth. You can't really suddenly at 25 decide you're going to, go to some kind of finishing school and be feminine, because it just doesn't happen. Like these type of girls right here, this is pretty much the way they look. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way they smile. Now, obviously, it's when they're happy and they have a different look when they're angry and all that. But still, this is not a fake, is what I'm saying. This is not. You're not being sold a bill of goods here, right? That's for sure. So let's go. Let's see here. More beautiful Asian hair. Let's see. Here back to modern days. So here we have Rachel Zegler. Now look at her hair there, as compared to the hair that we've seen before. I would argue that genetically she doesn't have the greatest hair. And it's also possible that her lifestyle, the way she lives her life, also damages her hair. But anyway, I mean, if you look at this hair, I personally, I know I have a different view on things just from living in Asia, but to me, this level of ratty hair at 21 years old, and that's the other thing to keep in mind. She's 21 years old, and this picture might have been last year, so I don't know if it wasn't today, that's for sure. So it's either she was 20, 19, 20, 21 in this picture. When you date her, this is more what you're going to see. This is what passes as an A-list. Like, this is kind of like, you got Tom Brady as the kind of like the Chad, right? And you got your Chads and Tyrones, right? They're kind of like the epitome of what a top 10% guy is. This is a top 10% girl in the West. I mean, we're not talking the bottom here. We're not talking rat's nest. We're not talking trailer park trash here. We're talking the best you can get. And this is what passes. I mean, it's very sad. And if you look at her chin there and skin also, look on the left. I think there's a lot being covered up. I don't think that we're dealing, like, basically what I think is that with this person, again, that was the no makeup. So this is her picture. There's not editing. I'm not doing anything to in any way make her look bad. And keep in mind, has a date on this one. So 2019. So we're talking 2 years ago. She was 19 in this picture. Okay, 19 years old. So there you can see her hair. And you can see her no makeup look. I just don't. She's got a huge mouth. I just don't think that is. I personally, I mean, everybody's got different taste, right? I don't think she's that beautiful. I don't think she's really. I mean, the mannerisms she has, we're going to get into that, make her extremely ugly, but just beauty alone. And I think that's important because, movies like Sleeping Beauty and Snow White and stuff, right? Just a second. Somebody's here to look at the pipes. Let me get this door open here. Just 1 second. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey. Okay, so here is another picture of her. Now, interesting is she's really got no boobs, right? Rachel Zegler is absolutely flat, right, as a pancake, right? And supposedly this is an A-list hot celebrity, but she's basically, I mean, we used to call that, we had all kinds of words for it back in the day, but like a chick with no boobs, it's like, really, like, if you're trying to like have sex with that, it's really not that attractive. Like, what are you going to do, when you start to grab around, right? It's not, there ain't much there, let's put it that way. But now this is a picture she posted, a real picture. But now things are changing here as time goes by. Here she's pretending like she has, she knows the poses, right? So she's pretending like she has like some real surprises there for you when she turns around. That's what that pose means, is like, hey, just think about it when I move, I got all this. It's kind of like this fake shyness, right? And then she whips them out. The headlights are right at you, and you're like, oh my God, it's so sexy, right? Unfortunately, when she turns around, there's nothing there. Now, here is another, I forgot why I had that one there. Oh yeah, now look at this. Suddenly, Rachel Zegler selfies her massive 10 10 out of 10 boobs and cleavage. Now those, I can just assume they are fake, right? Because you look at the curve on the inside, the top inside. That's how you can tell fake boobs. So here she's had boobs done, it looks like, right? And everybody's playing along. Society is her massive 10 out of 10 boobs, right? Massive, right? And cleavage. Woo, baby. Oh, man. Damn, that's like really hot. Fake titties are so hot. Okay, now, I looked for boob job, right? I was trying to find out if there was information about that. But get this. And this is how bad, what is it called? Censorship has gotten. Is that when you search Rachel Zegler boob job, instead of telling the truth, like, just saying, hey, she had a boob job, right? What the fuck, right? It's totally obvious, right? Instead, you have Rachel opens about her breast cancer scare. Now, this breast cancer scare thing's hilarious because this is really funny, actually, because I actually looked into this one for you, as I do, and get this. So they featured her in a women's magazine on, famous stars who had breast cancer scares, right? And she was the featured person on the picture. But they edited, I had to go to the Wayback Machine to see, they edited her out of the story. And the reason is because it was basically fake, right? It's just, she's got some kind of neurosis. And so she thought, she felt like some kind of lump that she thought was a lump, but actually was nothing, right? So actually she didn't really, it's I don't want to be totally dismissive, but let's put it this way. This article was a serious article about women who had breast cancer, and they took her out. There's a reason why, right? They took her out. The reason is because, these other women had real problems, right? They actually got cancer, almost died, and then they had surgery and this and that. Miss Zegler, who's always trying to be in the middle of everything and has all these, whatever the issue is, he's always there. And another thing about her is very interesting is, but this is interesting about her in the sense that A, society will not tell you she had a boob job. B, she is using, it seems like to me, I can't say for sure, but it looks like she's using cancer as a way to get attention at age 19, trying to be in the news, right? I maybe not, but that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. Okay, let's put it that way. And the fact that she was, taken out of an article about breast cancer, obviously once they looked into it more, or somebody gave them more information, she's the hottest thing in Hollywood. So if she was not part of that story, they wouldn't have taken her out because the other women were all old and she's the one that made me click on the article, right? Because she's the hot thing, right? She's the fucking Snow White, right? So anyway, this tells you about society, and it tells you also a little bit about her. Similar to we saw a very similar one here when we were the one I was talking about, Elisa Heimer, whatever, the one who was the marketing director for Bud Light. She was the same type. She put herself front and center on a cancer scare. She was cancer survivor. And I went and ripped that one apart by reading articles, basically. And it looks like this is the thing now. This is one of the ways that attention whores can really get themselves to the front of the line. Even though they don't, using a disease like cancer to get attention. And I'm not saying she did. It looks like it to me. That's what I say. And is really the lowest form of life. There's nothing worse than somebody selling snake oil to people with cancer. The reason why it's considered so bad is because you're using their fear and their pain as a way to make money. And when you claim to be a cancer survivor and breast cancer scare, it's really it is a low form of life, but it's understandable because when you're trying to get to the front of Hollywood or, whatever, marketing team or whatever, you need kind of it seems like these days you need some kind of survival story. So we're going to see more of this. Now, again, whether she did it or not, I don't know for sure. But I'm reading breast cancer scare a lot these days. Okay, a lot. Okay, a lot more than breast cancer that exists. Okay, I'm reading about scares, and I'm reading about, oh my God, I thought I had. I'm not reading about doctors saying, oh my God, we barely saved her life. She was 1 millimeter from death. I'm not reading a lot about that. I am reading about that, but it's not with these ones that are trying to get jobs and stuff, right? So here's another one. That's how she looks. Rachel Zegler. Now, is this a 10 out of 10? I mean, would you rate that a 10 out of 10? I mean, is that a beautiful A-lister? I mean, would you jerk off to this, basically? That's the best question for a guy. Because if you wouldn't jerk off to it, that tells you something, right? I can't imagine. Like, even though she's holding up the mic and her mouth is open and everything, I didn't even notice that till right now because it's just so comical. Like, it's not beautiful. It's not erotic. It's basically just a very average looking girl. And here's another thing about her is interesting. She is the queen of getting into things, getting into the middle of things. So one of the things she did is she got the role of Maria in West Side Story, as I said. Now, Maria is Puerto Rican because the whole story is about Puerto Rican growing up in Brooklyn, right? Or in New York. It's a classic New York story, classic. And in the original one, they cast what's her name, Wood, and she was not. She was white, and that everybody was angry about it. So for this one, naturally, we thought that they were going to cast a Puerto Rican, and they cast Rachel Zegler. There she is. They cast Rachel Zegler as Maria. Now, the interesting thing about Maria here is that she is actually, her dad is Polish, and her mom is Colombian. So, there's a lot of Puerto Rican actresses they could have chose from. And this is the queen of, you need representation, right? She's always talking about why she needs this role or that role is because of representation. So she got the role of Maria, even though neither of her parents are Puerto Rican. Like, this chick is an absolute fucking joke. You know what I mean? She's like stealing roles from Puerto Ricans. Well, her dad's Polish, right? And her mom's like, it's crazy. This is what you have going on these days. This is the level of human, right? Now, abolish the police. Of course, she wants to abolish the police. Sit down. Okay, here's the way she communicates. And somebody commented, you're right, if you're American, vote for Trump and promote free speech. And she said, sit the hell down, racist. Okay, now this is the Snow White. Snow fucking White. The person in office right now is a white supremacist and racist. And supporting him makes you the same. So sit, and I cannot stress this enough, the hell down, racist. These are tweets that apparently she's since taken down, but these are verified. These are Rachel Zegler tweets right here. Racism, white passing. She's apologizing for being a white passing person, right? So that's the human we have here. The new Hawkeye should be a trans woman of color to stick it to that racist, sexist, transphobic garbage monster. She's talking about, what's his name? Renner, the actor. Never-ending racism. Let's see here. Where is it? Yeah. Racist, sexist, transphobic. Totally respect the deaf community. I better catch my mouth because she running. Okay, so we have a very nice person and very feminine and very natural beauty too. So this one's a real winner. Man, this one's a catch, right? Let's see here. So I want to see what else we have here. Just kind of end on some other tweets that she had. She's frustrated by men. What did she say? She retweeted this one here where she here's Here's the one she retweeted. Okay, so fuck God. Fucking men. So she she retweeted this one. So she is the princess in a Disney. She is the one they chose to represent the princess.
I thought my threshold for like bullshit with men is just I don't have one anymore.
Okay, so she retweeted all these lovely, loving, inclusive tweets here. Let's see, gonna zip through the final ones here. These are more of her tweets. Oh, those are some of the ones I read before. Okay, this is a classic right here. Is that she's complaining now that apparently she said she's getting death threats. But the interesting thing is she attacked J.K. Rowling, the author of what was that series? What was that one called? The Harry Potter, right? Harry Potter, right? She attacked her, and she said she was all kinds of terrible things. I got the link in here somewhere. But what happened was after she attacked J.K. Rowling, her followers all attacked J.K. Rowling. And so she got death threats like crazy. But interesting enough, Miss Zegler did not care about these death threats. Apparently, she does care, but not when she causes them. So, so here are some of her followers that are talking about J.K. Rowling. Oh no, this is Gina Carano. Yeah, the same thing happened with Gina Carano. This one's for you, bitch. Maybe your goofy ass can take notes from an actress who can actually act. At Rachel Zegler. This is for you, Stinky. Why don't you listen to her and stop making fun of pronouns? This one's for you, bitch. Watch and learns. This one's for you, Trumpy. Let's see here. Yes, stop being racist. Blah, blah, blah. So basically, die, Rowling. Die, bitch. Die, bitch. Literally die. Die. Kill yourself. Girl, I wish someone would get on with it and euthanize your old ass. Just die, you old woman. Die. JK stands for just kill. Fix your heart or die, JK Rowling. Kill yourself. Bitch, I'll kill you. JK Rowling has died. Kill TERFs. So basically, shut the fuck up, TERFs. Crawl in a cupboard, goddamn famous, and die there. So basically, these are the loving followers of Miss Zegler. And this is how much she really cares about death threats. And where are the comments by her trying to stop these threats? I don't see any. In fact, I don't think there are any. I looked through all the tweets. I didn't see her once. She was convinced that J.K. Rowling deserved whatever punishment. But it's interesting now that she is in the middle of a controversy, that she's now having to deal with the public, the scary public, and she's now crying and everything. She's making all kinds of videos crying. Racist bitch, cry, kill, get fired, just suck my dick and live in a ditch, eat a fucking dick. Let's see here. They called Gina Carano a Nazi sympathizer. I mean, this woman didn't do anything. She's another actress, right? It's just crazy. And so this is basically what we're dealing with here. This is what we have. I mean, this is, if you live in the West, this is a beautiful, innocent princess who is basically supported by Disney is really the purveyor of princesshood. Like if I was going to say, who is a princess, right? Like in the world, like who is the ultimate judge of who's a princess? And that would be Disney. There's nobody, I think, that you could say in the public's mind or even in reality. I mean, who is the judge of a princess? And that would be Disney. And so Disney chose this person to represent the Snow White Classic. Now, just for a little bit of history, the Snow White Classic was from 1937, right? Now, this wasn't just an old story. This is the story that Walt Disney built his empire on. This is the first story Walt Disney created. And it was based on real stories that people were telling each other. And they turned it into a movie, turned it into a book. Snow White is the very heart of Disney. So not only is Disney the purveyor of princesses, the one who judges, but the story they chose her for is literally the very heart of Disney. And I just want to say here, it's in closure, the reason why, and no one has said this, so I am not, this video is not rehashing anything people have said. And I'm going to tell you why I think that what Rachel said in her interviews, and I didn't play the whole thing, she just said weird, but she called if you don't know, she called the prince a stalker in Snow White's story. The reason why that is so bad, so really terrible, I think it even could take down Disney. I'm serious. 10 years later, we'll be able to judge whether that actually happened. But the reason why, here's what really, this is a Ronin Man unique commentary here. Why is it so important? She attacked the prince. She attacked the story. She said it was an out-of-date 1937. He's a stalker, okay? Why is that so bad? Everybody is focusing on the new movie that's going to flop. Supposedly it's going to flop and they're not going to make any money. I don't know about that. I can't predict that. Nobody knows. Maybe it will flop, but it might have flopped anyway. So nobody really knows what caused that or what did that. But why were her remarks so incredibly damaging? And I'm going to go so far as to say is we have not seen the damage yet. Why am I saying this? The reason why is because Disney's secret weapon is that they have intellectual property, IP. And what their intellectual property is their old stories and movies, the classic movies. So when she attacked the original story, she attacked Walt Disney, as a few people have said. You know, Walt Disney, that really was his claim to fame. That was his story, right? He chose that to found the entire company, start the entire company on. And you see that in the Disneyland, you see it in the movies and all that, right? When she destroyed that story as basically a crime, stalking is a crime. Okay, when she made the prince into a criminal, she destroyed the old classic. And what that means is the new one might bomb, right? But what Disney never imagined, the company, is that she could destroy one of their cash cows, which is the old Snow White. I mean, which girl in her right mind would watch the old Snow White now? Because she is, and by today's woke standards, she's actually correct. He is a stalker, and that movie is a joke. He's a criminal, and he's just lucky he didn't go to jail, right? The whole story is there's no love there. All there is crime and neurosis and psychological problems. Stalking is a severe disorder, okay? It's not a small thing. Stalkers are extremely, they're very disordered. They're totally fucked up individuals. I had a stalker before, a girlfriend, and they are very, very weird. Very, very weird. And dangerous, actually. So she destroyed the heart of Disney. And I think now what's going to happen now is that people are going to she set the precedent that not only can you question these old movies, like she could have just said, hey, this thing's a little out of date. We're modernizing it with some new music and some new dancing, some new technologies. No, that's not what she said. She said that Prince is a criminal and the princess was a victim of a crime, right? And that this is what people worshipped for many, many years. And many people listening to this have grown up watching Snow White. So by painting it in that way, like there's no way Disney can come back from this. It's not going to happen. And I think it will really poison Disney's library of intellectual property. So I predict that, and of course, I'm not saying I'm right, but I think it's important to put your words where your mouth. I think that she poisoned, in a very incredible way, the very heart of the company that will eventually lead to the demise of Disney, because that's what made Disney different. I remember when a lot of Chinese companies tried to make Disneylands, and they all failed because they didn't have the stories behind them. There was no way you could start a new Disneyland because there was no stories that you had that were this beloved and this, widely respected and mirrored and copied, and you know what I mean? Like there was nothing. All you had was, there was no history to these other stories. But now that she's destroyed the history, I think there's a turning point for Disney. I don't think there's much they can do at this point. I don't think it matters if they cancel the movie now. I think she really put an arrow in the heart of a great company that I believe was, as I said in my original Disney, really a great force for good. The original Disney was, and I won't go deep into it, you can go watch my original one, but it was a way, these stories, these fairy tales were a way for humans before movies, before books, to pass on wisdom and knowledge. They were the way, storytelling around the fire. This is what we did. We told folklore stories to each other in order to teach people, young people, how to act. But now, today, that's apparently a crime. And this is from the Disney princess herself, who, let's face it, Disney hasn't fired. So Disney is all behind this. Whether it's from lack of intelligence or, whatever it is, Disney is behind Rachel Zegler. So you can't take Disney, you can't make them a victim because she's not fired. So it's really an implosion. It's an implosion of a, what's the word? I had a word in my mind. It's an implosion of a icon. And it's pretty incredible, actually. So congratulations, Rachel. You definitely had you made your mark in the world.